Majestic rising, everyone. SCURV here. Let me know if my sound is good for those who have come in, and we're gonna roll. Let me know those who are just coming in. Renee Green. Yes, we have a conversation we have to continue. And after the event at the little shopping yesterday, and came in, and once my head hit the pillow, it was all she wrote. And plus, you all know that I'm 5 hours ahead of the East Coast, and I guess that means I'm 8 hours ahead of the West Coast in the United States. How is my sound? Let me know how my sound is. Is my sound good? I think it is. So I'm going to go on and start. This is a live stream. What you're seeing is in real life. And there I go. If you don't believe it, you see my hand there. Sister Reese, welcome on in. I'm still going to talk about that Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight. That there were so many revelations afterward. No excuses, but it was, I think, Mike Tyson is a real noble individual to fight through what he had to fight through, having to go to the hospital the night before and months before, dealing with 8 transfusions and a ruptured spleen. He's a champion. But anyway, okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Renee. It's just a beautiful morning. And this is what I like about it up in the mountains, that when the clouds move away, because that's what you're seeing in front of you, you can't see it as clear, but these are the clouds right there. Before, you couldn't see the other side, but as the day goes on, the clouds move away. Right now it's 6:24 a.m. I've been up for a couple of hours already. No matter how late I go to sleep or early, I always seem to get up early. And it's just something about being surrounded by nature and the tranquility. I can't state it enough, because you all know, and all of those who follow the platform for a long time know, that was one to just stay up till daybreak and 7, 8 in the morning. It was a very unhealthy thing. But now that I'm back in the mountains, well, not back in the mountains, but I'm up in the mountains, that nature has taken over. And just to be wrapped in this and the tranquility. And of course, there's a road over there, not too far, a 2-lane road that sometimes can get busy, but not in a traditional sense. And we usually don't hear much until they start honking horns or people start playing music or whatever. But that's the only interference. And when we're inside, we don't hear anything, and we have yet to install our AC units, which we don't need. But when we do, the windows all will be closed, and we probably won't even hear someone just outside of those windows. So it's a beautiful thing. But I woke up with the feeling to speak on this and, stop pulling for deadbeats who are not motivated to improve, to get better. And I want to give a big shout out to Sister Jessie, who was with me yesterday at the brunch that I streamed. Maybe the stream didn't go so well after we moved into where people were sitting because of the sound, but I wanted to show you, these are the type of events that I'll be going to once again. I kind of signed off from going to anything for a couple of years, but now anything within my scope, I will be doing. I will be there. I have nothing else but time to do so, and I'm happy about that. And there is no one getting in my way in doing so. And Tuesday, I'm going to do a stream and some recording. It's going to be extremely special event, and especially for me personally. I'm not saying what it is, but you will see it here on the channel sometime, probably in the morning time, in the States, because it's the afternoon here for me. So it'll be a couple hours early. But look how those clouds are moving slowly but surely. And from where I stand, there's a part there that's low, that's really clear, or in a way you can't really see it through the camera, but it's just beautiful. And I love to see that, and the changes in the sky. It happens rapidly up here. Big shout out also to Brother Brandon, the brother that I met yesterday, and he was speaking on that particular live stream when he was sitting next to Sister Jessie. And I feel like I know the brother all my life. I feel like he's in my inner circle. Some people are just like that. And before I go on with the topic, I just want to say that we had a really deep conversation. We actually spoke for hours after the event was over. And for those at the restaurant who were so gracious to accommodate us, I'm so happy. It was a really wonderful event and place, and meeting so many different people. Um, Meeting so many different people that knew me from online, but we had a chance to meet in person. And I was like, wow, I thought I was forgotten for me not doing these events, but the love was overwhelming. And there was a brother who just got off the plane and got there. And he came up to me and he was like, Lance, good to see you. And I was like, wow, you think you fell off and you didn't really. The love just built up even more. And right in front of me, I mean, like 6 feet in front of me, there's this mist, part of the clouds that are just moving. It's just amazing. It's just like when you go up in an airplane and you begin to see, the clouds, and then it gets thicker and thicker. Well, that's what's right in front of me right now. Um, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And you can see now in front of you how the clouds are blocking the view over the edge of the hill, a mountain in front of me. I say hill because that's what it is. I'm on a hill, and that's a hill there, but the hill is on top of a mountain. One of these mornings, I'm going to walk over to the other side of the road and show you how high we really are, you know. But yeah, Brother Brandon, we had a really, deep conversation, and we spoke on this, you know. We spoke on this about finding your own tribe, getting along with kindred spirits, and how the Creator connects you with people if you don't rush people. You see, the thing is, I've learned, and I've always known this, and my parents have always taught me, you don't have to push yourself up around people who don't want to be bothered with you. You don't have to push yourself up with people who continuously disrespect you, continuously try to turn people against you. If those folks do turn against you, they never were for you anyway. But yesterday was really a sign for me to really grind the way I'm supposed to grind. And I'm at that particular point right now with so many good things going for me. And I'm just happy that I've endured so much. And I'm here. And there's a few mosquitoes that don't want to go away. So you may hear me scratching and knocking things away. Richard Smith on Facebook, thank you for being here. Uh, the 90 Z Brooklynite, welcome on in. And I'm just glad that I'm here. I'm going to be doing a lot of just impromptu live streams, recordings. Today I'm going to rest, and not really. I have things around the house to do, but sprinkling through the day, I will be doing a lot of content like I promised. And wherever I go, I'm going to bring you all with me. So there'll be times when I go live or you see something recorded, you say, hey, he didn't schedule that. Well, it's because on a whim, impromptu, I say, hey, let me just whip out and share something. Sometimes it'll be long, sometimes it'll be short, but I want to take you along for the ride with me, not in a way that's superficial. No. If I run to the store and I run into somebody phenomenal, I'm whipping this camera out, and we're gonna rock with the energy like I did yesterday to make you feel it. Because sometimes we think about other places and we say, oh, what is it like over in Ghana? What is it like in South Africa? What is it like in the Gambia, Kenya, Tanzania? Well, wherever I go, trust me, we're gonna hang. And it's very relaxing for me to do so. Landon Price, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Thank you for rocking with me. Yes, the clouds are coming back. Look at that. The clouds are dropping and then coming back. You saw the sun poke out a little bit. And in front of me, you see how misty it's getting? I'm glad you're seeing this, because moment to moment, it can just change so much. And when there's a storm and we're in the clouds come down and you won't even see what we see as far as the plants in my own backyard, right? So that's how it is. But yeah, Brother Brandon that I met yesterday, We really, really connected. And I told him, I said, this is so surreal because we started in our deep conversation. You know me, I'm gonna drop little quips, little anecdotes, little jokes and stuff. And he understood them. And the funny part is he's from Orlando, Florida. Now I wasn't born in Orlando, but I lived there for 19 years. And the other 38 years before that in New York City. And the remainder of time here. So it when we spoke, you know, it was really refreshing and we opened up, and this is what we need to do as a people. We need to get back to that connectedness that we had with each other. You know, I remember, and I'm not a person, some old guy reminiscing over the past. This is an energy thing. This is what should be going on now. I remember I would go to a cookout or maybe a barbecue or a house party. And maybe I was invited by a person who lived in that house or had a connection. And when I got there, I might see new faces, but they were all kindred spirits to a degree. When I say to a degree, nobody is perfectly the same, you see, but there was an overlap, and one of the overlaps that helped to make me feel good that way. Golden Gold, welcome on in. Wow, we're getting everybody in here. Yeah, was the cultural appreciation and connectedness, because we love the same music. We may not love every single song on the same, but there was something of an overlap. There was something of an overlap in the foods that we liked. We had commonalities in the neighborhood, whether you were in that particular neighborhood or you lived just a little bit further, but you know the shopping areas. And it was a pleasure because you spoke the same language. Now social media has taken us to a point where we don't speak the same language anymore. We're off in our own world. And of course, it's okay to be diverse and to be different. Yes, of course. But as a people, we need to have a commonality. We need to have a common thread. And not only do we not have such a strong common thread, and yes, we do, some of us, but just like Brother Brandon was saying yesterday, he said there's a loneliness. There's a loneliness now. Not even just here in Ghana, but the United States, we're so disconnected, but yet we're lonely for each other. We're lonely for that connection when we can start a sentence and the next person finish it. Or you can see somebody in a supermarket and the way you greet them, it's a knowing, it's a connectedness. And we're losing that. And that's part of our demise, because if we lose that and we don't have that anymore, we're doomed, because they're outside forces, you know, exactly the head nod, Landon Price. and we do it out here. I was born in America. Of course I'm an American. But I'm here and I walk down the street and there's a connectedness. We may not even speak the same language, even though English is the primary language here. They have their own native tongue. But even in the body language and, you know, and not everybody's going to have that connectedness, but it's something that I miss, because growing up in New York City, and I'm quite sure there are other bigger cities and other places where it's a knowing feeling. And when you don't have that and everybody comes off like a stranger, a distant stranger, an island unto themselves, it makes you feel lonely, and you can be in a room full of people. So when I go to this event yesterday, the majority of the people, I mean, some people were in their own world, had their own little clique, but they were still, you know, friendly and courteous. But the bottom line is, it was a beautiful thing, because, and not only because most of the people there knew me. I'm not on that. I'm not trying to be famous. It was just the connectedness that I saw, not just from me to them, but between each other, how people were courteous and holding doors for each other. And even the owner of the restaurant, when I went in, because Sister Jessie didn't eat, and it was a brunch, it was a group, everything was paid for, and she spoke, but she was sitting there and they were supposed to bring her food. So I said, nah. I said, mistakes happen. Let me go in here and talk to the guy. So I talked to the owner. I said, there's a beautiful young lady out here that didn't eat, and she spoke and everything. And he's like, oh, no. We'll make a correction on that. And they brought her food. And that's how we have to look out for each other. When you see somebody in need, or you want to get their back, you're in a checkout line and somebody's like $4, $5 short, $10 short, and you got it like that at the moment, take care of them. It doesn't mean you're a simp. It doesn't mean even if it's a dude you look out for, that you some kind of rainbow dude looking to get with him. No, it's just, hey, we're family, and this is the energy that we share with each other. And this is what makes life sweet. And so we talk of angels. When you think of this misty thing with wings coming down, no, we got to be angels for each other. When you pass that love along and you make that person feel good, it doesn't have to be about money. It could be an encouraging word or a listening ear. When you pass that word along and that energy along, it ignites something in them that will keep on going. And, they have this thing called, and you probably, heard about it before, multi-level marketing, right? And it's like, oh God, this person's talking about multi-level marketing, but I'm talking about spiritual multi-level marketing. When you invest in someone and give them your energy and the benefit of your energy, especially when they're in a time of need, you have a residual spiritual income that comes back to you when they continue to do the good deed from the energy that you gave to them. And then you get a boost. You don't have to be around them. They don't have to come back to you and say, hey, this is what you did for me. It doesn't have to come back from them. It'll come back from the universe. You see what I mean? But that's what I want to say on an introduction tip. And like I said, this may not be long, because then I will be doing other content. I'm going to eat a little bit shortly, and I might even lay down and write something in my phone, write an article. There's so many things swirling in my head right now since yesterday when I went to the event. There was so much good energy there. There were no egos there. There were no narcissists there. There's no microphone hogs. I went there as a servant to observe and just support the thing with my presence and videotape and share it. And like I said again, Tuesday is a very special day for me, and I'm going to share that. And it's going to be mind blowing, and I'm looking forward to that. So in the morning, late morning on the East Coast, and maybe a little earlier on the West Coast, I'm not going to hammer down the time, but just keep an eye on the channel or any alerts. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so and hit that bell icon so you can know when I go live, especially when it's unplanned. But one of the topics we spoke about, and we can see over the edge of the hill in front of me, and the cloud is right there. It's right hanging over my head. I never stop talking about that. They talk about everything in the cloud. Well, I'm in the clouds, right where the lightning is when it's dropping, But yeah, one of the things that we spoke about, and there was a really deep conversation, and Brother Brandon shared some personal things, and I did also. So it's something I didn't record out of respect, and I would never sneak record anybody. But that just wasn't the kind of conversation that I would, share with the world, because that's his business. But it was a very motivational conversation nonetheless, and we drew motivation from our parallel viewpoints. And one of the points that we spoke about, which, we have to learn, and many of us do it. I'm not saying you do it. I know I've done it in the past, but we've got to stop pulling for people who, I know it's harsh to say deadbeats, but I put that in the title to catch your eye. But this is sometimes what they are. But we got to stop pulling for deadbeats who have no motivation to improve, no motivation to see themselves in the best light, no motivation for success. And again, success means different things to different people. And that's a deep thing, because people, human nature in its lower states as it is now generally in the world, which we have some wonderful people who are vibing high, but we still have a lot of people, and I will say the majority of us are vibrating on a low level, even when we act like we're higher than that. And I'm sick of it, and I pull away from those people. I'm sorry. They can talk the talk. They know how to talk the talk and impress you. Oh, wow, this person's deep. This person has spiritually ascended. Oh, wow, yes. I didn't even look at the chat room. Mad Guns Forever, Sweet D, Gifty Sine, welcome on in. I'm sitting here running my mouth, and I didn't even, but I'm standing up high over this gadget here, and it's secured to one of the posts. So what you're seeing is live. So let me give you a little wave. It's wonderful. But yeah, you know, I like to vibe with people who now at this point of my life, and I think we've graduated, we've gotten to a point now where we have the right to pick and choose. Because see, and I say we, and I say all of us here who are in the chat room and many who are watching, but we have good hearts, and we want to see people succeed, and we want to see people do well. We want to help and aid them. But see, we judge people or assess them by the state of our own mind. And we assume that they have the goodness in their heart for us that we have for them. And the hurtful lesson in life is when we realize there's not any reciprocation. At least feel for me, like I feel for you. The good energy for you to always motivate you, to always be there, and I'm so happy to have that in my life right now. I have cut a lot of these non-entities out of my life. I want to give a big shout out to Sister Cuss. And when I say Sister Cuss, I'm not saying I'm Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson had his trainer, Cuss the model, that adopted him, took him under his wing, trained him, and made him a champion because he saw something good in him. And so I have my own version of Cuss the model. It's not a man, it doesn't have to be. It is a divine sister who has been an angel to me and has revived a lot in me when a lot was on me. And while the whole lot was on me, I was grinning and bearing it and forging forward. But there's certain things now that I have been, just from the association, just from the exchange. Man, I have grown so much at this age. So you're never too old to learn and to grow. And now my enthusiasm is so high, more than what it was before. And it's in an effortless way because there are no speed bumps in my way. That's right. We all need a custom. Yep, yep, yep. And it comes in unexpected ways out of nowhere. And sometimes we expect it from someone that we've known for many years. And then sometimes a person sees something in you. They may have observed you for a time and say, hey, I'm going to help them in some kind of way. And it's just like this. I had to pass that energy along, right? It's not always a money thing. It could be a motivation thing. It could be a spanking your ass and smacking you between rounds to bring you back to reality that you need to keep that left hand up. You need to drop that right cross in there. You can do it. You've been doing it. Don't have any, how can I put it? Where you're not focused for time. No, don't lag right now. We're here to do business. You know, I'm here in Ghana right now. A lot of people look up to me, but I don't think high of myself. No. Let me rephrase that. I do think high of myself. I don't mean like I don't think high of myself. I think low of myself. No, I don't think low of myself. I have confidence. I have esteem. Yes, I have all of those things. And I believe and know in myself. But it's not a cocky thing. And you don't have to apologize for having the confidence. But my confidence has been tempered and developed by the custom models in my life, especially the one that's in my life now. And I love the fact that she can get in my ass, and I don't mean in some rainbow way, and tell me the real deal. Like, this is what you're thinking. This is what you're afraid of. You need to do this. And you always have to, when you have those people in your life, let them know you can go there with me. Please, this is what I want. Because a lot of frauds out here in the world will be yes men and yes women, only because they're taking something from you. It doesn't mean that you're going to take or steal your TV or drain your bank account, but they may just want to take your life force or have the sick, twisted, sadistic pleasure of steering your life force in a different direction that will eventually bring you down or cause you to not be successful in the direction you want to go in. Because that spirit comes from them not having any confidence or direction themselves. And instead of them submitting and saying, hey, to the creator and say, hey, what is my purpose here? What am I supposed to do? And see, this man-made engineered world will make you think that if it's not something that is going to land you in the big lights and have you famous and all over the world, and it doesn't have to be that way. Your purpose as the overnight maintenance man in a ghetto elementary school might be to talk to that kid that's at school early, and before your shift is over, that you saw crying sitting on the steps because he found out his parents were about to divorce, and your role might be there to talk to him. See, nobody sees that. Nobody sees that. But you came to that young man at a turning point in his life where he was not crushed because of the wisdom that you shared from something that you might have had to deal with 30 years before. That might be your role. But here, that maintenance man, at some points in his life, may say, hey, you know, this is all I'm going to be. But you don't see your role in the overall scheme of things. It's not your job. It's not your position. It's you being there at the crucial time. What if the basketball player that slam dunked the basketball wasn't in position under the hoop? Yeah, look at the sun trying to poke out. And then when the ball is passed to him, there's nobody around him. He takes his time and slam dunks it. It's positioning and timing. We don't have to follow everybody else's narrative. If you know somebody who became famous and they weren't even trying to become famous, there's a reason why. There's some people who try for fame and never get it because maybe it's not for them. Look what's in your path in front of you. Your mission is right there in front of you. You know where you want to go, but today it might be that very thing in front of you that needs you. Maybe you might just have to listen to a person. Some people need somebody to listen to them, just to be there, a presence. Half the time when we have a loved one in the hospital and we're there with them, it's not like, well, I'm going to talk to you and update you on what's happening on the state of 5 minutes and I'm going to leave. No, sometimes we sit in the hospital with a loved one overnight. And because of our presence, because of, ooh, the sun, look at that. I love the changes minute by minute. If I did a time lapse out here, it would be so phenomenal. I'm going to do that soon too. But sometimes it's just sitting there and them waking up in the middle of the night, they're heavily medicated and they glance over and you sitting over there in that reclining chair with your mouth hanging wide open, snoring. But that's love. Oh, you stayed with me. For those who like cats or those who like dogs, there might be a time when you're at home and you receive some news that makes you cry. Maybe you have in a relationship with a person that's hurting your feelings and you just sit there and you want to cry, and all of a sudden that cat or that dog can sense this and they come by you and snuggle up next to you and you cry harder because you're feeling the love from the cat or the dog, and at least something appreciates you and loves you. It can sense you and how you feel. You see? So this is very important, that connectedness. You know, oh, let me see something here. I'm missing a lot of the comments. The sun is in my face, so I'm so sorry for not seeing. You know. Oh yeah, definitely landing, definitely landing. It's and I feel the love, and that's what I'm focusing on. And I'm focusing on my destiny, and I'm focusing on what I have to do while I'm here. What's in front of me. It's not always about me, but me being a servant, me going to these different events and vibing and enjoying and sharing, and let me be the middleman for that. There's other people doing it, but let me do it my way, in a sincere way, rapid fire. I'd rather throw 100 quick jabs that may not be as powerful than one overhand right that misses. You see what I mean? But what I wanted to really speak about tonight or this morning, why am I saying tonight? Because I'm still thinking over there in America, the sun's not up yet. But again, like I said, we have to stop pulling for people who oftentimes resent you for your motivation. And when you have a good heart, you don't even think this way. And again, these can be people who are very intelligent and even successful to a point where they're working, paying their bills, and they can't be evil toward me. They smile all the time. They can't be evil toward me. They have their nice little car, their nice little place they live in, and everything seems to be all right with them. But don't think about that, because sometimes people don't even think about what they have, and it's not about material possessions. It's where their mind is at, because we don't know how they were raised. I've known people who are grown folks who are jealous of children because they can see that the children of their so-called friend were being raised correctly in a way that they weren't. So they're jealous of the children. How can you do that? You have to do your own healing to get over the trauma that you had to deal with as a child, but now you see this child doesn't have that trauma that you had 30 and 40 and 50 years ago, and you're resentful to the child and will do little things, show little faces and little, not actual kicks, but little kicks to break their spirit because you're mad that you didn't have that. Ain't that something? So this thing goes deep, and sometimes these are the people that we're pulling for. Sometimes these are the people that we're trying to motivate because we are motivated. Oftentimes, these people who are resentful of your momentum are the very people who saw the struggles that you had to go through, and almost where you didn't come out of it. They were there for the struggles. And see, lots of times, and I've known this like in the past, there are people who I thought were in my corner, and they were calling up every time to find every detail of what was happening with me. And I'm thinking, man, they're really concerned. No, they were enjoying the struggle, and they were hoping that it crushed me forevermore. That although I may be alive afterward, I wouldn't be living and I would be broken. And these same people will come to you years later and rub it in your face more and tell you, if things were different, you could have done this and you could have done that. Well, if you felt I could have done it and I was pursuing it, why didn't you even attempt to feed into me, to motivate me, to push me over the edge, to reach that success or to reach that status or goal? This is what I'm talking about. And later on, like I said, they'll give you compliments to hurt you. They'll give you compliments to make you feel regret. Man, you're right. I could have done that, but I didn't. And now you get more depressed. This is what they want. And we pull for these people who are not reciprocating the positive mentality to give us a boost where we need it. And even to sometimes the good people in our lives now that will step back, because every toddler that's learning to walk, well, I mean, they're a toddler now, right? They were just crawling. They need to know what it's like to sometimes fall. And we have to allow them to be able to hit themselves on the knee or fall down a little bit, but to understand what pain is so they can refuse to fall again. They'll be more determined to not fall victim to gravity and to get their balance. But there's a time of nurturing, just the same way when you put training wheels on a bike. You can't keep the training wheels on the bike forever. There's a time that you have to take them off, but you gradually raise them up on the sides. So after a while, when that person who's learning to ride the bike doesn't even need the training wheels, but they don't realize it because it's been raised up so much. So now they're navigating on their own balance. And this is a beautiful thing. And this is when somebody is connected to you, like my custom model, that lets me know you're doing good or you effed up. I know you can do better. And this is what we have to be for each other who are motivated. But right now, I cannot pull for anyone who's sitting there and using their lack of motivation as a way to drain me. Or acting friendly. Say I want to get myself in shape. Hey man, you know, you ain't got to go to the gym today, man. You ain't got to go running today, man. You've been eating this way, man. You doing good. They'll give you a compliment. But you know, you need to reward yourself, man. Come on, let's go down to that bakery, man. They got a special on chocolate cakes. I know you love chocolate cakes, man. Are you really in my corner? If I say I'm ready to go and I want to go, let me be the judge. Why are you encouraging me the other way? You see what I mean? We have to see the mask that people wear to infiltrate our motivation, to crush it in a long-term way. They're not going to just say, you can't do it, you need to stop. You'll identify them too easy. They're watching you like that little girl in front of the brownstones in Brooklyn who's jumping double dutch. She's watching the ropes and she's rocking. She's timing. She's timing the ropes so when she could jump in. And so many people are in our life, next to us, close to us, even at a distance, monitoring us, waiting for a time to jump in. See? And we're so used to them being there. When you see them, they're going to be nice to you. But you'll soon find out. And this is not to say that everybody's like this, because people are going through stuff. Give them a chance. But past a certain point, when you have to break through like a rocket, a spaceship, out of the atmosphere, there's so much of a gravitational pull pulling you down naturally. That's the natural struggle. It's not a bad thing. The gravitational pull is there because if there was no gravity, everything would fall off of the earth as it spins now, wouldn't it? We got to thank gravity, even though we don't see it. We feel the effects of it. And it's not always a good thing when somebody jumps off of a roof of a skyscraper or a high rise because they want to end their life. They know how to use gravity the wrong way. But gravity is there for a good thing. Everything natural can be used for the good or the bad. You can use water to drink. You can use water to drown somebody. You can use water to cool yourself down and stop a fire. You can use water while you're in a boat to travel from one landmass to another. This all depends on how you use it, the energy, the natural forces that are there. It's very, very important. But when you pull back from people who are using you for emotional and spiritual and mental welfare, it could be physical welfare, the welfare of using your body for pleasure when they don't have any feelings or love for you. And you might be lonely and allow that to happen because you're lonely, and for the time they're grunting and groaning on you, you feel not lonely anymore. Stop compromising with these people who don't bring anything to the table. Once you get to a certain point, you have to go to the next level because it's more difficult to break through the gravity. So you cannot carry dead weight with you to get to the next level. Your inner circle will get smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's okay. Every new vehicle that you see created has less of the wind drag because it's made to be more aerodynamic. More aerodynamic. When you look at some of the older vehicles from the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, when they were big and square. Let's take an extreme example. I was driving over the Verrazano Narrows Bridge coming from Brooklyn into Staten Island, and lots of times from Staten Island into Brooklyn, because that's where both sides they are. And this was an extremely windy day. And there was a UPS truck in front of me, and I couldn't pass it. There are 3 lanes up there, from what I can remember. Maybe 4, but I know there's 3 on that bridge on each side. And the wind was so bad, the UPS truck couldn't even keep itself in the center lane where it was. It was coming over to the fast lane. It would sway over into the slow lane. It was looking unstable in the middle lane. And I said, I'm not going to try to pass this thing because it's the very time it may come over and hit me. But the wind around it was pushing it left and right. And half of these UPS and FedEx trucks look like they're just sitting down on the wheels crooked, like it's a little sideways. So I said, But you see, the vehicle that I was in at the time, it was a 1989 Buick Regal. When they first made them aerodynamic and the handles was sideways, and people loved that car. but I don't do American cars anymore. No more. Sorry. But it was a nice vehicle, and it was very aerodynamic. And to me, inside that vehicle, it was low. It was cutting through the wind like a wedge. And so it looked as though this UPS, the driver couldn't drive, but it wasn't that. It was the forces around him. When in essence, he had to be an excellent driver to do as good as he did. So we see people too now that are in dysfunctional families, that have dysfunctional jobs and situations, or things in their own head that they're getting over. And they may not be all the way where they should be. But we think, well, they're a little off, or they're doing something wrong, or it's not that. They're doing good because of the forces that you don't see, like the wind around the UPS truck on the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. We don't see the forces that's pushing them left and right. Those are the people. They are succeeding, but it takes a deep person to understand what they're going through. But on a superficial level, most wouldn't even know. And those are the people that I would side with just as well as those who are going for their brand of success and inner peace and ascension. That's obvious. I'll pull for that person who's in the UPS truck and wobbling down the road where others think they can't drive, but they can't see the wind. But for people who are just determined to just live these nondescript lives, and they weren't nobody was put here for that. Nobody. You were put here for greatness. And again, it's not greatness on the man-made engineered system level. You may realize greatness on that level and acknowledgement, and that's all good, but as long as it's organic, as long as it's grounded, as long as you're not doing stupid things looking for your 15 minutes of fame, which can turn into a lifetime of shame. You see, that's what it is. Let me give a shout out to Elizabeth. I'm going to reach out to you since I know you're up so early, but I know you're an early riser. And many in America right now, they're up late. For me right now, it's 7:04. For the East Coast, it has to be 3:04. And I'm just so glad you're here with me. But yes, we got to stop pulling for these people because they're dead weight. And sometimes these people don't show their backside until you know them for decades. And you're surprised because you've allowed them to be a fixture in your life. Even with me, vet me. I'm not going to say don't trust me, but make sure that if you feel you have a red flag when I'm in your presence and I'm the reason for it, investigate it. You have a right to do so. I want to know that I have good credit with you. And I don't mean on a money level, but good credit as far as my standing with you and how you see me. And feel free to call me out on everything. And I'm brutally honest, I will give you an answer. Not some political answer, but a real answer that you'll understand this is the truth. Because I am determined to keep my filters clean. I am determined to not have a mask on or multiple masks on, because many people do that. They have the people that they go to church with. They got the other people that they go hang out at the titty bar with. They got the other people they gamble with. They got their families who they play the family person role with. And when they go down to the town square or the supermarket and they run into people from different factions of their life, they don't know what mask to put on. I know someone who was raised having a mother who owned a funeral. She was a funeral director. She had her own funeral parlor. And we don't think of these things usually until our loved ones transition on. But there's so much drama, as she tells me, during the time of her funeral. Things, the pressure buster pipes right there. She's witnessed knife fights over a person's body that they both claim to love, but because there was a tension all along, it came out because the emotions are running high. I mean, all types of things happening. There's a guy that I knew who he was mild mannered and cordial and pretty much a pillar of the society. Most people had a good word for him, but he was very busy because in the back row, there were about 8 women back there, and they all had little crying babies with them that looked like him. So we see where he put his time. Now that's his choice. Maybe I don't know the circumstances. You know, maybe the dear Lord told him, hey, we got to build an empire here. And I guess he had fun doing it. But that's neither here nor there. Who are you for real? What do you want to do with your life? Who's around you that's influencing you and pulling you? And you're pulling for them. You're wishing them the best. Okay, I wish everybody the best. But you're taking time for yourself, which is an insult to the Creator, because if the Creator has you in position to do something great, it's not selfish to focus on that thing. And there are people who will try to make you feel as though, oh, you changed. You don't come around like you used to. There are times when people have to focus on what they need to focus on to get their spaceship out of this gravity, out into space where there's no pull at all. And you have to understand that. There are times of isolation that you must go through when things must change for the better and evolve for the better. And we don't realize that. What season are we in this life? I know my season. I have incubated my talents and abilities and my desires and my drive and to know what it is I'm put here for. And there are multiple lanes I'm going to be doing right now. And I'm overjoyed. Look at me waking up at the time when I was still up before. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would still be up and feeling kind of bad because the day is starting. I'm about ready to go to bed and sleep into the afternoon, the middle afternoon. And there are times I didn't go to bed till 12 noon. So I was really off. I believe there's a chronological time, which we know that time is man-made on the spiritual levels as you ascend and we transition. There is no time. That's an artificial construct and hoop that we have to jump through in this world. But I believe there are certain times of the day that your downloads can come through stronger in certain positionings. So me in nature, I'm closer to the modem of the Creator, the modem that gives off the signal. If you step away from the source of the internet, the signal is weaker and you'll find yourself buffering more. When you're closer to the source of the internet, and I'll explain it this way because we all understand that, you get a stronger signal. So me up here, where my house is built, and this is what I see every single day from every angle. I'm home and I'm private. Nobody can see me right now, but I'm outside. Nature right up in my face. And if I go downstairs and walk below all these leaves that you see, all these plants, I'm really embraced by that energy. I'm closer to the download. So why is it? It should be no surprise that if I have to take a van into the city early in the morning to get down to an event, I'm so close to the modem, to the source of the download, divine download, the divine spiritual internet, that I can't help but heed the commands of what comes to me. And when my custom model gives me a voicemail or a text message or a phone call, that chat of 60 seconds between the rounds of a fight to help guide me, they don't have to go all the way back and say, well, I'm not saying this to hurt your feelings. No, smack me. Wake me up. Tell me what punch combination I need to do on this opponent. I think I kind of know, but I need you when you see it. Tell me. Tell me. So me, I'm so close to the modem. I'm so close to the source of the downloads that I can see who's pulling for me, and I can see who's pulling against me, and I can see who I would be wasting my time If I'm pulling for them and they don't really want to improve themselves, whether it's a friend, whether it's family members, whether it's a neighbor, a stranger, whatever. Every person who's in need and acts like they're in need is not always in need. It can become a hustle after a while on your money, on your time, on your energy. I know people who sit out in the street begging. They want to go to the liquor store. They want to get little drugs. And they sitting right there by the bus stop where everybody is waiting who doesn't drive, getting ready to go to work. They're begging then. And they're still sitting there. When they come home, tired, they're still there. But if you get your pay on Friday, or if you go to an ATM to draw your cash out, there they are, sitting down, feeling entitled to what you got up out of your bed, oftentimes fatigued and tired, not wanting to go, stomach hurting, period on. Or you just don't want to go, mild case or whatever in your stomach. And you had to grin and bear it and go. And now you get your payday, whether it's a check or a direct deposit or cash under the table. And here these deadbeats are with their own hidden agenda and secret motivation to satisfy their vice. To satisfy their vice off of your righteous force. They're pulling against you. Don't matter if you went to school with them back in the day. You see? And now you have that connection, but they took a different turn. How are you using your energy? How are they using their energy? Even when you're positive and motivated, sometimes you're tired. Sometimes you're like, I'm a little confused today. And that's when your custom model comes and smacks you or gives you a kind word or supports you in a loving way, as you should do back for them. Because sometimes custom model needs a good word, a little motivation. Because see, energy flows. And those who are more advanced than us or have ascended higher, they still need the input of energy. No matter where you drink at the stream, gravity pulls that stream down. It's something you don't see, but it happens. So what's pulling you? What's motivating you? Is it bad fuel? Are you motivated to get revenge on somebody? That's not good energy to run through your system. It may be a rush and it may feel good in a twisted way, but why don't we try to burn clean fuel, right? In our lives, good intentions. And if there are people around you who have bad energy, yes, there is a bad energy out here. And we have to decipher and discern who these bad energy entities are. They may look good. They may be charismatic. They might have achieved a lot. You say, wow, they're a financial whiz. I want to get around them. And they may know how to do those things. And you can learn from them. But don't get too close to the fire of this person who has bad energy, because you will get burned. That's how we learn to navigate life better than ever before. Wow. I thought I was going to come out here for an hour. No, not an hour. I'm out here almost for an hour. I thought I was going to come out here for 10 minutes. But you know how that goes. And that's how time, the artificial construct, passes by out here. Because the sun is a little higher. And when I'm up here with nothing in town to do, or no appointments as far as phone calls or doing something with construction and dealing with these guys who come to do the work, all I go by is the sun. And I say, okay, it's about this time, it's about that time. And let me tell you something which is really phenomenal. When I lived in Accra in the apartment before we came to the house up here, and my sleep patterns were off. I'd look out the window I would always look out the window before I play a game with myself when I wake up. And I try to play like, okay, what time is it? Let me try to look at the sun and the angle of the sun. Or you don't even have to see the sun. You can see how the shadows are cast. Say, oh, it must be around 1 o'clock. Or I don't see a shadow. It must be 12 noon. You see what I mean? And when my sleeping patterns were off and I wasn't connected to nature, because all of Ghana is not just nature and fruits and stuff. We got city, we got smog, we got traffic jams and, things going on. And when I'm in that atmosphere and disconnected from nature, I couldn't tell where I'm off sometimes by 2 hours. Up all night and went to sleep 9 o'clock in the morning. You wake up and say, man, it might be around 3:30. Right? And you really realize it's 12:30. Say, I'm off 3 hours, but now not even using the clock. When I wake up, and for me, if I wake up at 6:30 or 7, that's kind of late. Even if I go back to bed, if I wake up at 3 or wake up at 4, because when the birds start singing, it's not the birds that woke me up, or the hens, or just little animals out here, because they have their own rhythm. I wake up with them. It's not them that woke me up. The thing that wakes them up is what wakes me up, because they don't have a timepiece. I never saw a bird with a timepiece. The bats that fly around, they know what time to go in. It starts to get light. They can sense it. They don't even wait for it to get light. But now, I'm really dead on almost to the minute. I wake up. If it's a little late for me, which is a different late for me when I was living down in the apartment, I'm like, oh, woke up a little late. I was up late. I think it's like 7:34. And I look at the time on the phone, because I don't like clocks in my house, right? I'm like, man, it just turned 7:34. Okay, let me see something here. I think this phone overheated. Let me see. I hope I didn't cut off completely. Okay. Okay. The power went down, and it went down to 5%. So I have my battery here to plug it in, and I didn't know. I was thinking if I plugged the battery in, you wouldn't hear the sound. So let me know if you can hear me right now, because the phone screen went black, and I'm looking over the mountains and talking, and I'm like, uh-oh, did I cut off? So let me know if you can still hear me. Which I was going to try to end this below the hour so I can re-upload this to different social media platforms. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to cut this now, but I'll be back in about another 2 hours or 3 hours. And I want to keep it down. Like I said, I want to roll. I want to roll today, so expect more from me. And I will continue with this topic on another level. It will be titled different, but it'll be the same flow. And right now I'm going to record something that I wanted to record, but I'm going to sign off now, y'all. And I didn't know the time flew so much, and I hope you can still hear me. But anyway, much love to you all. SCURV out. Take care. Much love.